Welcome back to the Crypto World channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now, Bitcoin is in a deciding moment because we are coming into contact with this important line of support. I'll be explaining exactly what this means for Bitcoin moving forward. On top of that, I'll also give you another update on this important Bitcoin chart, on-chain analysis, and so much more later in this video. So definitely make sure you're watching all the way to the end of this video so that you're not missing out on any of this important information. And just before we jump into it, make sure to leave a like on the video down below. And if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe with notifications turned on for more updates just like this every single day. But with all of that out of the way, let's get straight to what this video is about. So right here, one of the Bitcoin US dollar charts on the 4-hour time frame to start off with, just to give you a quick update on this bullish divergence that I let you know about 2 days ago now. And so back then, I let you know that in the immediate short term, it's very unlikely we're going to head to the downside and we're going to see reduced selling pressure with either a little bit more of a sideways consolidation here or a slight bounce back to the upside. And that's basically exactly what we've seen over the past 2 days. Now zooming out to the daily time frame, just to give you a quick update on this important trend line for Bitcoin. As you can see, when we're drawing this line of supports between these two lows just here on the logarithmic chart, that creates this important upwards trending line of supports for Bitcoin. And right now it's coming in at approximately 54,000 US dollars. So for as long as Bitcoin is holding above around 53 to 54K, we're still looking really good here on the daily time frame. But if Bitcoin starts breaking back below 50,000, as I mentioned yesterday on the channel, that obviously would not be too good, and we could be due for a little bit more bearish price action if that plays out. But something else that I mentioned yesterday, in fact, over the past 2 weeks pretty much on the channel, I've been telling you about this 120-day simple moving average ever since Bitcoin was all the way up at these higher prices. And right now that is coming in at around 52,500 US dollars. But considering the fact that it's still ascending, it is getting close to 53K. This was simply the moving average that Bitcoin bottomed out at in the September correction, and that's why I have been keeping an eye on this moving average, because for any of the new viewers on the channel, this correction so far obviously looks very similar to the September correction. But of course, that is nothing new for the subscribers out there. I've been telling you that for around 2 weeks now on the channel. So basically, Bitcoin has major support at around 52 to 53,000 US dollars, mostly because of this line just here, and of course that moving average right there, and also because in the daily RSI we are getting close to the same sort of levels that we bottomed out at, all of these previous lows for Bitcoin. So that is why it's very important for Bitcoin to hold these levels in order to have any sort of bullish price action moving forward. And now taking a look at this important Bitcoin chart, for the new viewers on the channel, I strongly recommend you checking out my last Bitcoin update video that I posted yesterday on the channel, because I explained exactly what this chart means in more detail in that video. But just to really quickly summarize it, basically these green zones on the chart right here, those are the times where the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index is sitting in extreme fear. And what we have in common with all of these levels where Bitcoin is sitting in extreme fear, of course, they come in confluence with major market bottoms, and usually they are some of the best times to accumulate Bitcoin, getting ready for the next major move to the upside moving forward. Of course, that is not financial advice. That is just telling you what this indicator has actually done for Bitcoin in its past. But when talking about this chart, what I did not cover in yesterday's update video was the price oscillators in these time periods. And what's very interesting is that we see similar things between the different areas on the chart that we are in extreme fear. For example, just zooming in on this area between March and April 2020. Of course, this was during the time where the majority of markets were having a huge crash to the downside during March 2020, and that brought the daily RSI into oversold territories. And of course, it brought the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index into extreme fear, showing an amazing buying opportunity. But what happened in the RSI and the MACD? Well, first of all, in the RSI, we reached the bottom in the RSI on the daily chart around 3 days after we entered into extreme fear, whereas the bullish cross in the daily MACD came around 1.5 to 2 weeks after we entered into extreme fear. So basically, the main thing to take away from this example was the fact that Bitcoin began to bottom out also in the price oscillators within approximately 1 week after entering into extreme fear. Now zooming out and going to the next example right here during May and July this year. And what we could see is a very similar thing. Once again, Bitcoin continued further to the downside in the immediate short term as we entered into extreme fear. And looking in the daily RSI, we did enter into oversold territories just a few days after we entered into extreme fear. But the MACD didn't see a bullish cross again until around 2 weeks after we initially entered into extreme fear. So once again, roughly around 1 week after we entered into this green zone right here, Bitcoin then began to bottom out. And the things to look out for to know that we are bottoming out for Bitcoin is, first of all, if we see the price somewhat stabilize after having a very volatile move. But just as important, if not more important, we need to see the price price oscillators start trending back to the upside. So I'm talking about the daily RSI and of course the daily MACD. And we saw that both times here. As you can see, we were in an uptrend in these price oscillators as we were sitting in extreme fear, showing an amazing buying opportunity. We also saw a similar thing back in September, but of course this was just a much shorter time period. During that era on the charts, Bitcoin was already bottoming out at that stage the moment we hit into extreme fear. And looking in the daily RSI, we had already started to trend back to the upside in the middle of that green zone. And then by the end of that time period right there, we saw a bullish cross in the daily MACD, and the market came back out of extreme fear with this uptrend in the daily RSI, showing us that Bitcoin was bottoming out. And so right now, we are possibly in the early stages of the Bitcoin bottom. We might not be there just yet, but once again, what I'm looking for moving forward is an uptrend in the daily RSI and some sort of bullish cross in the daily MACD. Those provide extra confirmation that Bitcoin is beginning to bottom out and head back to the upside. But of course, it's important to mention that today, the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index has actually bounced back up a little bit back into the fear zone instead of extreme fear. But with that being said, we are still sitting really close to extreme fear. So really, if Bitcoin has one more slight move to the downside, that would likely put us back into extreme fear again, which would continue on with this green zone right here. Now jumping into some on-chain analysis. I've hidden my face cam so you can see all of this data over on the right side of your screen. And this will just be a quick update from the other day because it was only a couple days ago on the channel that I covered this chart right here. But for the new viewers on the channel, this chart is the Bitcoin All Exchanges Reserve. So basically, this gray line just here is the Bitcoin price on the daily time frame, but this purple line right here is the total amount of Bitcoin sitting on exchanges. And basically, all you need to know is if the Bitcoin on exchanges starts rising rapidly to the upside, that can be a bearish signal, and in fact, a bit of a warning signal that we could be about to crash. Like what we saw back in May, we actually had weeks in advance leading up to that crash in this indicator just here. And why that is the case is because if a lot of people are wanting to put Bitcoin on exchanges, that usually means they want to sell that Bitcoin, which of course pulls down the Bitcoin price. But usually if people are withdrawing their Bitcoin off exchanges and putting it into cold storage, for example, that means that they really have no interest in selling that Bitcoin, at least in the immediate short term. So basically, when this purple line just here is going to the downside, that is a bullish sign. And I'm sure you can see right here, the Bitcoin supply on exchanges is absolutely crashing. We are right now seeing a lot of Bitcoin getting withdrawn from exchanges, which is a very bullish signal. Because remember, if there's less Bitcoin sitting on exchanges, that means there's less Bitcoin available to buy. And so even if the demand stayed the same for Bitcoin, reducing the available supply, the circulating supply, means only one thing for the price. And of course, that is bullish. And speaking about demand for Bitcoin, there's certainly a lot of demand right now for Bitcoin, and especially at these lower prices, because this is the Bitcoin combined order books across all of these different exchanges. And so on the left, you've got all of the buy orders, people wanting to buy Bitcoin at particular prices. And on the right, you've got sell orders, people wanting to sell Bitcoin as we go further to the upside. And the first thing to notice is the fact that straight away, the buy orders jump immediately to the upside, meaning that right now at the current price, a lot of people are wanting to buy Bitcoin, while the sell orders, on the other hand, do not show the same strength, at least right now, as the buy orders. And if you look here further to the downside, especially down towards 53,000 US dollars per Bitcoin, we have a huge surge in buy orders, which will be acting as major support for Bitcoin. So this huge wave of buy orders starts at around 53.2K and goes all the way down towards around 52,500. And so really around 52 to 53K, we've got huge support in the order books, which falls in line with the same technical analysis that I've been telling you for weeks now. And if you enjoyed or got something valuable out of this video, make sure to leave a like down below. And if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe with notifications turned on for more updates just like this every single day. And before clicking off, make sure you're checking out one of these uploads if you haven't already, especially for the new viewers on the channel, because these videos can potentially help you make even more money in the crypto markets. And as always, I really do appreciate all of your support in the channel at the moment. I can't thank you guys enough. But anyway, that is it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.